Hi, my name is Leah Lovelight, and welcome to Reveal Microdose Conversations, designed to support you in your journey of radical self acceptance and empowerment as a woman. We hope you enjoy the magic. Okay, so welcome for today's microdose conversation. My name is Leah Lovelight. I am the facilitator of Reveal Retreats and host of this microdose conversation with Meena Ruchi. And I am so excited. I got the honor to meet Meena about a month ago, actually, or maybe a little bit longer than that. And we just had a really powerful conversation around the Akashic Records. And I am definitely one that dabbles in the alternative modalities. And up until that point, I had never really known truly what the Akashic Records were or the value that they could bring. I just knew that they were a tool that a lot of people had used. And so as soon as I talked with her, I was like, this got to get out there. I want to share it with the world. So I'm really super excited to welcome Meena Ruchi, who is an Akashic Record Reader and a meditation instructor. She loves helping people who feel stuck or uninspired by life connect with their purpose so they can cultivate clarity and contentment. And then after spending over a decade seeking her own purpose and finally finding it through the Akashic Records, which is a super fun story, she finds great joy in bringing this magical perspective to others, helping them to find greater clarity and meaning in their own lives. So thank you so much, Meena, for being here. And I'd love to know, is there anything you would like to add to that introduction?
Um, no, other than I'm a fangirl of the Akashic Records and meditation. Like I'm such a fan of these two modalities, and I think they're really powerful when you work with them in tandem. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you for being here. And where I would love to start is when we first checked in, you had shared that like celebrating exactly who you are and self-love really meant something to you through the Akashic Records. And these are also pillars that Reveal stands upon for our retreats. And so how might an individual coming into the Akashic Records utilize the Akashic Records for really finding a path of self-love and or celebrating exactly who they are?
Yeah. I love this. It feels like celebrating exactly who you are is the essence of my work with the records, because there's such a powerful tool and it's such a clear way to kind of cut through all of the mental constructs, all the chatter, and really arrive at a deep and centered place within yourself to connect to that clear space that is the true you. And I sometimes call that the deep self. So it's a way to commune with the deep self and really find out, why am I here? What does my deep self or my soul really want to do? What does it really want to express in the world? And how, like, when you get clear on that, then you can begin to kind of radiate that true self. And I feel like being who you really are, that is something worthy of celebrating. I feel like that's the whole purpose of life, is to really express that essence of who you are.
I love that so much. And what I really appreciate is the deepness in your voice as you share it. Like, I can tell that this is like your soul's calling coming out in the expression of sharing this. So let's just step back like 2 feet and just how would you describe the Akashic Records to people for those that don't know?
Yeah. So the first time I heard about the records, this is how it was described to me. So the Akashic Records are the subtle, energetic imprint of everything that's ever happened, everything that's currently happening, and everything that could possibly happen in the future. So it's this energetic compendium of infinity and eternity. And when I heard that, I was like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. So if that's how you receive that, I'm totally with you. So the way that I like to think about it is, if you could imagine an invisible library in space that has books on every subject you could imagine, including you or your own essence or soul. In an Akashic record reading, when I'm working with someone one-on-one, it's like we're checking out the book on you And you have the opportunity to ask questions and receive insight from this elevated, kind of ethereal perspective. So some people call it spiritual Google because you can literally ask questions like, why am I here? What's my purpose? How can I improve my relationships? How can I be of deeper service to the world? And things like that. So those big, juicy existential questions that you wish you could type into Google, but you can't, you can bring those to the Akashic Records and get really illuminating, loving perspective on them.
Awesome. So, with this idea of spiritual Google, I love that. That's so fun. So, with this idea, I know one of the things that you and I talked about was really, and you've kind of hinted throughout this conversation so far, is that the Akashic Records is a way to help a person gain clarity on purpose, specifically their purpose. So, what might a journey look like for an individual that's coming to you to gain clarity on their purpose? And I'm just going to hand that over to you and just let you share whatever you would like.
Sure. Okay. So this is kind of like the big burning question I had before I found the records. And this tends to be like one of the juiciest questions that people come to a reading to ask about. So in a reading, yeah, like when I open someone's records, you can literally ask, we can start the reading by them asking, what's my purpose? And really like what we're tapping into when you ask that question through the records is first, I guess, I would love to divest from the idea that purpose is a vocation. So that feels like a really kind of trendy way of thinking about purpose is what job am I supposed to be doing? And I totally felt that way too. That's how I used to think about purpose before I found the records. So that's not exactly what I'm talking about. It's not like asking an oracle, like, what am I supposed to do as a job, as a career for the rest of my life? It's more like when we ask that question, what the records are illuminating for us is what is the reason my soul incarnated? Why is my soul here? And what are the qualities that my soul or my deep self really wants to experience in this lifetime?
Awesome.
I noticed we were glitching, so I just wanted to pause. So, yeah, when you connect to those qualities, when you think of purpose as a set of qualities that your soul wants to experience, it then opens a lot of doors and it becomes something that you can work with and really like hold and be in connection with. And when you are in touch with those qualities, say one aspect of your purpose, one of the things your soul desires most is to be in community and deep, sincere connection with other people. If you know that, then you can look at every decision that comes to you through life as an opportunity to align more deeply with those qualities. So it becomes like a fun, almost like gamified way to make decisions, because now you have something like it's almost like a lead rope or a compass that's pointing you in the direction of fulfillment. So now when you're presented with a decision and you have a couple of options, you can just tune into which of these options most vibrates with community and deep, sincere connection. And so it becomes a way to kind of orient yourself towards fulfillment and alignment and happiness. So that's what we're doing when we ask about purpose in the Akashic Records. It's connecting to those qualities that are really going to fill you up and light you up and make you excited and motivated about life.
What I love what you're saying right now is it's an expanded perspective. So I think a lot of times, as you shared, like we kind of get caught up in the idea of purpose for our human self. What's our job? Where are we going to do? Who are we going to be with? These types of details. And what I hear you saying is that this Akashic record reading transcends the human self and really taps into a higher soul purpose. And so for those that maybe are trying to connect to their soul still, what is something that you feel like might be a tool for them to bring in that connection even deeper? In addition to using the Akashic records, obviously that's something, but what if they're still trying to connect with the idea of soul? What would you say to them?
Yeah. And if soul is kind of like, I know not everyone really loves that word. So it's like, again, just deep self, true self, who you are kind of underneath all the layers of the mind. And I think a really simple, easy way to begin to kind of tune into that deep self is simple, easy meditation practice. Just spending, and you can learn how to meditate. I teach people how to meditate, but it could literally be, you could start today with taking 60 seconds to sit quietly and just be with yourself without music, without moving around, without anything in the background to distract you. And just, can you sit with yourself? Can you be with yourself? And that's a great way to begin kind of communing with those deeper layers of soul and spirit and self. Yeah. It's not as hard as we think it is.
Totally. Well, depending on who you are, sitting still for 60 seconds might be like trying to climb Mount Everest.
Right. Well, I guess it's simple. It's not necessarily easy as people.
Yeah, yeah. So in that I love that you just shared that tool of meditation, and it's just being able to sit silently for 60 seconds. Like that's a great way to start. And I know that you do offer a free meditation practice, and so I will definitely be sharing out that link. And so for meditation and the Akashic records, where is the intersection, do you think, for these two modalities?
Yeah. So the reason I use these two together is the Akashic records are almost like an electrical socket of clarity. So it's like you can plug into them, you can get a reading, and you can get like insight around your burning questions. And so you immediately have a sense of clarity and a broader perspective. And then when you have that, meditation is how you maintain that sense of clarity within yourself. So it's almost like one is the quick fix, and then the other one is the maintenance. So that's why I like to pull them together, because I don't want people to be dependent on any kind of modality that's outside of themselves. So it can be a profound tool to work with someone, almost like regroup, kind of pull yourself up, recenter everything. And then from there, I love to equip people with their own tool that they can take with them and be in contact with that. So it's like the Akashic records help us kind of like line up and get in contact with our deep self. And then meditation again just maintains and deepens that connection over time, so that every time something comes up or every time you have a decision or a curiosity, you don't have to go run and get a reading. You have your ongoing practice.
I
Does that
love
make
that.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that one is like the quick and then one is the maintenance. I think that that's a really beautiful distinction to help people be able to understand how to work with these together. So I know that you have a workshop coming up on June 6th for the Akashic Records. And I want to know, is there anything you'd like to share specifically about that workshop for people that might be interested in learning more?
Yeah, if you're curious about the records and what all this is, and maybe it sounds good, but you're like, what really is it? This is the perfect place to kind of get a taste and dip your toes in and really experience it for yourself. And it'll be really lovely. I'll share a transmission from the Akashic records that's specific to that group of people. And then afterwards, I'm going to guide everyone through an Akashic journey. So you yourself will get to experience what it's like to kind of be in that space of deeper clarity and receive insight that's direct and specific to you. So it's a great way to kind of get your own direct felt experience of what the magic of the Akashic records feels like.
I love that. I love that. So there's one word in there that I would love to just tease out a little bit more, and it's this idea of transmission. What can you dive into that just a little bit?
Yeah. So anytime I'm like opening the records, I call it a transmission, because it's like this it's not like my mind and my perspective that's like offering clarity. It's like so much more brilliant than the things I could think of, and that's proved every time I read. I'm like, oh wow, that was a great thing that just came out of my mouth, and it's definitely from the records. Oh, there was another glitch. I feel like,
Yeah. Sometimes
yeah,
my camera plays a disco party.
my meditation teacher used to say that when the spiritual vibes are high, technology glitches. So that's a good sign to me. So, but yeah, so I call it a transmission because when we pose these questions to the Akashic Records, it's almost like I'm receiving this, like, it's almost like they're speaking and I'm translating. So I just call it a transmission of me relaying the information that's coming from this vast space library.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, as we wrap up this microdose conversation, I would love to know if there is anything else that you would like to share with the audience that is listening at this moment.
Yeah. Mm. I love to remind people that your purpose isn't hiding from you and clarity is closer than you think.
Your purpose isn't hiding from you, and clarity is closer than you think. I love, love, love that. So, all right. Well, if somebody wants to reach out and work with you, what is the best way to make contact with you? Like, what is your preferred methodology of being connected to?
Yeah, my website is the best way to kind of join my world and dip your toes into the Akash. So you can join my newsletter or you can send me a message through my website. That's a great way to get into contact.
Awesome. Well, I will make sure to also share that in anything that we put out into the world. So,
That's good.
Meena, thank you so much for just bringing in your wisdom and your practice and sharing your modality with the world, because I know that purpose and clarity are two things that in this crazy world that we're living in right now, it is something that we're seeking. And if you're on a path of growth, if you're on a path of discovery, if you're on a path of self, which is a huge process in its own experience, I know that this could be a tool that a lot of people might be able to take advantage of. And I'm just really grateful that you've brought this opportunity into our ethos so that we can share it with our community. And so thank you for your time, your energy, and your presence here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was such a treat. I really enjoyed this.
Good, good, good. I'm so happy. So, for those of you on the live, thank you for joining us. And then I'm going to go ahead and stop that recording. And for those of you that are hearing this in other modalities, whether it's on YouTube or on our Spotify podcast, please like make sure to check out Meena, and we'll see you all in the future at another experience. Thank you so much for being here.